In this video I'm going to be assembling back the engine of an XJ 650 and I'll be using a donor engine. If you want to watch the original teardown of this engine, you can watch that and I'll put a link above. Thank you. I'll attempt to put this video into some kind of chronological order, and what I'm doing in this part is I'm going to decarbon the head of the donor engine, and as you can see you use a copper wire brush on a drill. Makes it very easy to do. Keep working with the copper wire brush, every so often cleaning off. You can use something like WD-40 on a cloth and just clean in between. Then I washed the pieces in the parts washer, took them outside and air dried them, blowing with the air compressor to get any water that was left within gaps and areas, and this also blew off some of the old paint. I then sprayed them with high temperature paint. As I wasn't spraying the cam cover, I literally wrapped cling film around it to use it as a mask. When the paint was fully dry, I then used sandpaper to sand the edge of the fins, as this was to match the original finish. Then I removed the old O-rings from the cylinder base grooves and replaced with new ones. And just to mention, I had actually cleaned off all the gaskets of any of the parts I was working on and had cleaned them down before doing any of this work. Don't forget to check any of the dowels in the engine to see if they need to be replaced, and also all the O-rings around them as well. With the head gasket in place, I then proceeded to use my piston ring clamps, and there's a separate video on these that I've made previously, so this piece will just move past quickly. But you set the inner two cylinders at top dead center to do this. That's cylinders 2 and 3. I'll put a link to the video in the corner, and also remember to tie wire onto the cam chain and thread it up through the barrels. This will help with the insulation, and you can keep the cam chain out of the way as well. Once the two inner cylinders have gone into the barrel, you then move the clamps onto the outer ones. Now you can try this without using the clamps, but I found I couldn't get the rings to sit into the barrels easily, and I was afraid I was going to break a ring. Once all the pistons had housed themselves and the rings were all within the barrels, I then used a rubber mallet to tap the cylinder down in an even fashion. Now that the pistons could actually move up and down in the cylinders, I went about and replaced the cam chain because I could turn the engine over now. I used a Camchain riveting tool that I bought on Amazon because the riveting tool that I had for normal chains was too big and was actually pushing the pins out rather than riveting them on. But anyway, you don't have to do that if your cam chain doesn't need to be replaced, but I was replacing it as I was in there on the engine, and this seemed like the ideal time to do it. Insert the O-rings that are needed, always use new ones, and then the new head gasket in position by threading the chain through it as well. Don't forget to do that. And then there's a little metal section that also goes around where the cam chain to help it guide through, so you just drop that in place too. This should all come as part of a gasket set if you've bought one. Now thread the cam chain through the head section, and be careful of that inner section where the cam chain is. It's inclined to jump out of place, so you have to keep repositioning it. It's also would be handy if I had a couple other hands, because one of the other items, the cam chain guide, the back one, kept getting caught in the head as I was trying to put it on. But you know, you'll get there. Once you have it in position, just I lightly tapped it down with a rubber mallet just to make sure it was firmly seated, and that was the head on. Then drop in all the washers for the head bolts, and just to mention that I had previously put in all of the shims, and I might do a separate video on how you measure and replace them, but we'll just continue. Then start by replacing all the head nuts from working from the inside of the engine out. You only hand tighten them down at this point because you're going to torque them down again. Then repeat the process, but not fully tightening down, but this time using a ratchet. What you're trying to do is get the head to go down evenly. And as you can see, still working from the inside out as I'm tightening these down. At this point I added both the nuts at the rear of the engine that go from the head through into the barrel at the front and the back, but I had to remove the one at the back because I couldn't get the camchain tensioner in, so that was a bit of a waste of time, but still put the front one in at this point anyway. And again, don't over tighten them. The final torque head setting for these nuts is 32 Newton meters, and again work your way out from the inside, working your way to the outer nuts. I speeded this section up, and so you don't have to listen to me breathe and groan and strain as I tighten them up finally. Insert the front camchain guide. Now set the engine at cylinder 1 at top dead center, and you can check with it, but I usually just check with a little stick, this is the end of a paintbrush, to make sure that the piston is actually on the right part of the stroke. It's important to identify the right cams before you put them in. This one is the exhaust cam, and it's also easy to see which direction it goes in because you match up the rev counter here with the drive from the engine. Now it's important to identify the right cam covers and the right position. This one you can tell from the dowels where it goes, but also there's a narrow on the top which points at the sprocket, so just there's a mark on the cam itself, but you just put it roughly in place at this point. Again, identify the cam covers before you put them on. Each have a letter on them. This is E1, which is the exhaust side 1, and the other one is E2, and at this stage I'm only positioning them. At this point I'm just dropping in the bolts and loosely tightening down the bolts into the cam covers. With the cam roughly lined up with the little pointer to the dot, I then proceeded to tighten down the cams gently, moving across them from side to side, not putting overall pressure on one point, not to damage the cam, because there will be some pressure on the cam as the cams may be pushing some of the valves at this point. keep an eye on the cam position, making sure that the dot is still aligned. You then tighten down the cam covers to 10 Newton meters. Rechecking that the cam dot is still in the correct place and that nothing has moved. Notice that the cam sprocket is not attached, so the cam chain has not moved and has stayed in the same position. Again, on the inlet side, do exactly the same thing, put the center one in with the arrow pointing towards the sprocket for the cam chain, and then put the other two cam covers on, which are marked I1 and I3. I1 goes at cylinder 1 and I3 would go over cylinder 4. Working across the different cam covers, bring down the cam gently. First tighten the nuts down by hand and then move on to the sprocket to tighten them down more, and finally when you have them in the correct position you can then tighten down with the torque wrench to 10 Newton meters. As you can see, I was using a rubber mallet to tap the cam gently around to get it into the right position so the dot matches the pointer. And again checking that both cams were in the correct position and that nothing had moved. The cam chain hadn't moved because it's actually not attached to the cam still at this point, and that both pointers are in the correct point where the dot is matching the pointer. In this part you've two things to line up. One, you've got to move the chain on the cam chain sprocket, but you've also got to have the cam chain sprocket in the matching place for the bolts to go through it. Sounds more complicated than it actually is, but in fact it's quite simple because the cam chain has movement because there's no cam chain tensioner in. And take note of where the cam bolts go through on the cam sprocket. Having said that, I had to work a little bit longer to get the sprocket to line up where the bolt would go through into the cam, but wasn't too bad. After putting a dab of Loctite on them, I then put in the two bolts that I could access on each of the cams, and then rotating the engines to access the other two bolt positions on the sprockets for the cams. I then proceeded again to put some Loctite on the bolts and tighten them in. And as you can see, I'm using my finger on the sprocket on the section it's raised where the bolt goes through, so I know when I have it in position. And as you can see, because the cams are offset to each other, I had to rotate a little bit more to access the inlet side, and again some Loctite on the bolt and tighten in. And then rotate the engine and make sure that the dots are aligned after a full rotation of the engine. Now insert the center camchain guide. Now moving on to the camchain tensioner. I would lightly grease the gasket for the camchain tensioner. This means you can often reuse the gasket if you have to take off the camchain tensioner again. To get the camchain tensioner ready for installation, first loosen the lock nut, then the nut, then compress in the tensioner on the spring into the housing and then lock the nut down. As you can see, the very slight coating of grease helps hold the gasket in place, and then install the camchain tensioner unit. Release the camchain tensioning tightening bolt and you'll hear a snap when it goes in and tightens the cam chain, and then tighten both the nut down and the lock nut on the cam chain tensioner. You can lightly oil up the cams at this point, and then I'm going to put on the cam cover gasket, which I've already covered in a very, very light coating of grease again, which means that if I have to take it off, it should come off intact and be able to be reused. By using a very thin level of grease in the gasket, it also holds it in place because the cam cover gasket is very narrow and very light. And now you can sit the cam cover in place. Hand tighten in all the cam cover bolts first. I just used a little pointy tool I have to make sure that the gasket wasn't going to get caught by the bolt as I was putting it in. Then working progressively from the inner side of the cam cover, working to the outer sides, tighten with the torque wrench again to 10 Newton meters. Well, I hope you find this video helpful. I will be making other videos about fitting the engine into the frame, putting the exhaust system on, and all the other little bits and pieces. And I've already made videos prior to this. I'll also be making a video of actually just doing the shims and how to measure them. Thanks for watching, and remember, subscribe, comment, and like. Thank you. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you.